Lord, we fight for you. slow all the way up. So. Battalion. I'd like to welcome everyone to our 9th annual West Brunswick High School Veterans Day ceremony. The past few weeks, the JRTC program, dance team, band, and chorus have all collaborated to create this ceremony in honor of our veterans, so please grant us your undivided attention. Today, we're honored to have with us retired Colonel Jim Wanovich, our keynote speaker, Mr. David Robinson, and Lieutenant Stephen Barger, Brunswick County School Board, Superintendent, Brunswick County Schools, Dr. Jerry Oates, and Assistant Superintendent, Brunswick County Schools, Daryl Cheers. Thanks for being with us today. We're honored by your attendance. A hearty appreciation goes out to our local veterans organizations, Holden Beach VFW Post 8866, Calabash VFW Post 7288, Calabash American Legion Post 503, and the Rivers Edge Veterans Association. They're under the leadership of John Prine, Jim Milstead, Chuck Good, and Nick McHale, respectively. We appreciate your presence today and your monetary and academic support of the Trojan JRTC Battalion. Will everyone please rise and remain standing for the presentation of the colors, the national anthem, Pledge of Allegiance, and the posting of the colors. Present the colors. The West Brunswick High School Band will now perform the national anthem. If you will, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Post the colors. You may now take your seats. Principal Pascal will now follow.
Good morning. My name is Jonathan Pascal, principal here at West Brunswick High School. On behalf of the faculty and staff, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our 2022 Veterans Day Remembrance Ceremony. Joseph Campbell once said, "A hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself." At this time, we ask any veterans in the room or watching online to please stand or raise your hand. Please join me in welcoming our most important and honored guest, our veterans. Thank you. I would also like to extend a welcome to all of the hardworking folks that are going to be performing or have already performed this morning. Want to first welcome our guest as well. So our special guest in the room, our guest speaker, Colonel Jim Wanovich, members of the board, Lieutenant Stephen Barger, and Mr. David Robinson. Also our Assistant Superintendent, Daryl Cheers, and our Superintendent, Dr. Jerry Oates. Once again, welcome to all of you and our students. You all know I have to say it, but thank you for showing your Trojan pride, moving as One West, and today showing your patriotism. We extend one final thank you and welcome to Focus Broadband. They are streaming this live across the county for all of our folks at home or at other schools as well. Now, on behalf of the school and all of our students here, we want to thank our JROTC program, our cadets, Colonel Callisto. If you can please stand, First Sergeant Clendenin and Sergeant Major Bellamy. If you'll give these gentlemen a round of applause, please. They continue to lead our JRTC program to great heights in making sure that we remember our veterans in moments like this, but also continue to educate our students on a regular basis on what patriotism is and what it truly means to be a citizen and an American. So we thank you. We would also like to thank some of our fine arts departments here. First, huge thank you to our chorus led by Miss Stephanie Sinlewski, and our dance team led by Miss Hope Skaggs and Miss Casey Sellers. We'd also like to thank our West Brunswick band led by one of our very own veterans, Mr. Jason Sipe. He served in the Army as a combat soldier in Iraq. Today we recognize those who have protected and continue to protect our way of life. We honor all veterans who have served to defend democracy. We celebrate and honor our veterans because we know that without them, without the brave, we would not be the land of the free. Thank you. At this time, I will turn the mic over to Cadet Major Ariana McClure.
Veterans Day, formerly known as Armistice Day, was originally set as a U.S. legal holiday to honor the end of World War I, which officially took place November 11, 1918. In legislation that was passed 1938, the 11th of November was dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be hereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. As such, this new legal holiday honored World War I veterans. In 1954, after having been through World War II and the Korean War, the 83rd Congress, U.S. Congress, at the urging of Veteran Service Organization, amended the Act of 1938 by striking out the word armistice and inserting the word veterans. With the approval of legislation on June the 1st, 1954, November 11th became a day to honor American veterans of all wars. In 1968, the Uniform Holiday Bill ensured 3-day weekends for federal employees by celebrating 4 national holidays on Mondays: Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and Columbus Day. Under this bill, Veterans Day was moved to the last Monday of October. Many states did not agree with this decision and continued to celebrate the holiday on its original date. The first Veterans Day under the new law observed with much confusion on October the 25th, 1971. Finally, on September the 20th, 1975, President Gerald R. Ford signed a law which returned the annual observance of Veterans Day to its original date, November 11th, beginning in 1978. Since then, Veterans Day holiday has been observed on November 11th. Next up, the West Brunswick High School Band playing Salute to Freedom.
Next up is the West Brunswick High School drill team. I would like to now introduce First Sergeant Retired and Mrs. Herb Lynch as they perform a toast to the flag. The poem was written by journalist, editor, and freelance writer and poet John Daly on June 14, 1917, to mark the first Flag Day. A World War I infantryman, Dr. Daly's poem reflects pride of military service, country, and flag.
In 1917, John Daly wrote this poem, and it became a keynote poem for American forces in World War I. World War I was to be the war that would end all wars, that there would not be any more wars following this. A toast to the flag. O flag, you are so great in every fold, so linked to mighty deeds of old, so calm, so firm, so still, so true. My heart swells at the very sight of your old flag. And there you stand with colors so bright, yet I think it's only right that since you neither brag nor boast, we honor you with this heartfelt toast, old flag. Here's to the red of it. There's not a thread of it, no nor a shred of it, and all the spread of it, from foot to head. But heroes bled for it, face steel and lead for it, precious blood shed for it, bathing it red. Here's to the white of it, thrilled by the sight of it, who knows the right of it, but feels the might of it through day and night. Womanhood cared for it, made manhood dare for it, purity's prayer for it keeps it so white. Here's to the blue of it, beauteous view of it, heavenly hue of it, star-spangled dew of it, constant and true. Diadems gleam for it, states stand supreme for it, liberty's beam for it, brightens the blue. Here's to the whole of it, the stars, the stripes, the body and soul of it. Oh, and the roll of it, sun shining through. Hearts in accord for it, swear by the sword for it, thanking the Lord for it, red, white, and blue.
It is with great pleasure that I introduce Colonel Retired Jim Wanovich, our keynote speaker for today's ceremony. Colonel Wanovich is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and is a 1991 graduate of the Virginia Military Institute. He was commissioned a field artillery officer and completed both Ranger and Airborne School, and subsequently served as a platoon leader and company fire support officer with the 3rd Ranger Battalion at Fort Benning, Georgia. He completed the Field Artillery Captain's Career Course in 1997 and served at Fort Campbell, Kentucky as Company Commander of Charlie Battery, 377th Field Artillery Battalion, 18th Field Artillery Brigade, 101st Airborne Division. In 2001, Colonel Wanovich returned to the 75th Ranger Regiment, where he served as a Battalion Fire Support Officer for 3rd Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment. Following multiple combat tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, he attended the Naval War College. Following school, he joined the 25th Infantry Division in Iraq and served as the Operations and Executive Officer for 2nd Battalion, 11th Field Artillery Regiment. In 2006, he returned to Fort Bragg and served as a Fire Support and Current Operations Officer for 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment, Delta, until 2010. In March of 2010, Colonel Wanovich returned to Fort Bragg and took battalion command of the 1st Battalion, 321st Airborne Field Artillery Regiment, 82nd Airborne Division. In 2013, he was selected by the Army to attend Duke University as a War College Fellow, and upon graduation in 2014, returned to Fort Bragg and served in a myriad of staff positions in the Joint Special Operations Command. In 2017, he retired from active duty and is currently serving as the Junior ROTC Senior Army Instructor at Jack Britt High School. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Wanovich.
Good morning. School board members, Mr. Robinson, Mr. Barger, Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Cheers, Superintendent, Dr. Oates, Principal Pascal, administrators, teachers, fellow veterans, and especially students of West Brunswick. Thank you for having me today as part of this ceremony. I want to thank Colonel Callisto, Sergeant Major Bellamy, and First Sergeant Clendenin for inviting me here today. I am truly humbled and honored to be able to provide some insights on the importance of Veterans Day. Former President Reagan once said, "It is fitting that we pay tribute on this day when we remember the sacrifice of those who donned the country's uniform and did their part to protect our freedom and independence." Words alone cannot express our gratitude to the brave men and women who took on the task of protecting our country from foreign threats and aggression. Nothing is more important to the soul of America than remembering and honoring those who gave of themselves so that we might enjoy the fruits of peace and liberty. This quote rings true today as we honor all of our veterans who unselfishly placed their lives on the line for our freedom. From the hour of our nation's birth, our best and bravest have stepped forward to defend our freedom. The unbroken cord of their service stretches back to the midst of our American history. From Bunker Hill to Belleau Wood, from San Juan Hill to Saipan, from Kuwait to Kandahar, from Baghdad to Kobani, nearly 50 million men and women have donned the uniform of the United States, and nearly 20 million still walk among us today. Right now, as we celebrate Veterans Day of 2022, thousands of soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen are on the job around the world protecting America and defending freedom. Veterans were ordinary people who answered the call to duty. They left their families and the safety of their home lives expecting no recognition or fame. They fought to protect our country and our way of life. And today we bestow upon them the honor they deserve. So what is a veteran? A veteran is someone who knowingly signed a blank check for any amount to include their life to defend freedom and liberty around the world. It struck me yesterday that for almost 20 years following the attacks of September 11th, hundreds of thousands of young men and women joined the armed services, knowing that they would soon be in harm's way in Afghanistan and Iraq fighting terrorism. So why did they do it? They did it because veterans placed the needs of the country before their own and their families. Every veteran has taken an oath of service that states, "I solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same." Unlike any other country, veterans do not pledge allegiance to a king or a queen or a person, but to the ideals of the Constitution. Many veterans have witnessed oppression, suffering, famine, the subjugation of women and girls, and the tyranny of dictatorship, so they truly understand their sacrifice is worth it to preserve the freedoms and liberties our nation enjoys under the Constitution. A veteran respects the flag and the nation. A veteran is someone who looks at the flag with great pride, for it is a beacon of freedom, strength, and hope around the world. Where the United States flag flies, safety, security, and the power of the United States is evident. Veterans undoubtedly know the greatness of our nation because they have experienced the worst of humanity. They have traveled the world and endured separations from family, always longing for that return home. They look to the flag as a representation of freedom, but also as a symbol of the teammates that they have laid to rest. So what do veterans know or what have they learned through their service that you might not know? First, veterans know that the price of freedom is not free. They know that to protect and serve this great nation will be costly, and that cost will sometimes be the lives of friends and teammates. It is an unfortunate reality of service. We remember them on Memorial Day, but veterans remember them every day. Second, veterans know what it is like to be part of the strongest brotherhood and sisterhood ever. As social media and network news will tell you how divided the country is, veterans know that men and women from every religion, race, political, and socioeconomic background can unite under a common purpose through service. They have seen it, and they have lived it. They know those things do not matter when the bullets start to fly or things get hard. Things like trust, honor, integrity, and character always do. Third, veterans know real heroes. I'm not talking about the ones that you see on the movies or on TV, but real people who when faced with the choice to save themselves, always chose to save others. They are men and women who have done extraordinary things without fanfare or publicity. They didn't take a selfie, post it to TikTok or Instagram. They didn't write a book or make a movie. They are the humble heroes every veteran knows. They are the people that their friends, family, and colleagues will be surprised to hear about their heroic actions. They are the ones that will tell you that they were just doing their job. So what can you do this Veterans Day to honor their service? Number one, thank them for their service. Veterans are usually uncomfortable about this because it never felt like service. They know their years in service to the nation are some of the best years of their lives, serving with some of the best people they have ever met. It will make them smile just thinking about it. Number two, ask them about their service. You will be amazed by the stories, the places they have been, and the diverse group of people with whom they've served. Find out what teachers, administrators are veterans and talk to them. Veterans throughout the Brunswick school system provide a unique perspective and one that cherishes the freedoms that you enjoy. Safe schools, good teachers, learning environments where all students are given the opportunity to learn and grow and are provided opportunities for unlimited success. As veterans, they unfortunately know that this is not the case throughout the world for all children. Veterans cherish the opportunity to continue to give back and serve this great community and country by passing on their own experiences to the next generation of leaders of our nation. Third, be thankful for the freedom this great nation provides, and thankful that it has produced men and women that have answered the call to duty to serve our nation. Take some time tomorrow to be thankful for those who continue to serve and protect our freedom. Finally, this Veterans Day, I think about all the teammates that I shared my 26 years of service and 10 deployments to the Middle East region. I think of the sacrifices they made and the values they embodied. The love of country, its way of life, and the unwavering love for their families. I remember September 11th like it was yesterday, and the somber feeling knowing that that attack happened while I was serving on my watch. I knew the response would be swift and I would be tested. And I remember watching the news following our assault into Afghanistan in early of October of 2001 and having immense pride not only in what we accomplished, but what it meant to our nation that was still healing. Veterans share that pride of defending the greatest country in the world while restoring hope, safety, and freedom to those around the world. Even with the chaos around us today, with social and civil strife and the political differences, veterans know that this is still the greatest country in the world. And the freedoms we continue to enjoy were worth the sacrifices they made for our country and the sacrifices of those patriots that preceded us. Thank you for honoring our veterans today. Let us all walk toward tomorrow still honoring them by living in freedom they protected. Thank you.
We will now have the West Brunswick dance team perform Rise Up.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we can walk it out. Move mountains, we can walk it out and move mountains. And I rise like the day, I rise unafraid, I rise up, and I do it 1,008 times again. And I rise up, I like the waves, I rise up, in spite of the ache, I rise up, and I do it 1,008 times again.
We would now like to present a gift to Colonel Wanovich. Sir, on behalf of our JROTC program, I would like to present you with a certificate of appreciation and a highly sought-after Trojan t-shirt. Thank you. Next, we'd like to present some Starbucks gift cards to First Sergeant and Mrs. Lynch and Aaron Varnum, Focus Broadband, for always supporting our annual Veterans Day ceremony.
Sir, I was a chief of firing battery for artillery. It's good to have you back home with us.
Thank you, sir. Please join me in a round of applause for Colonel Wanovich, First Sergeant and Mrs. Lynch, and Mr. Varnum.
Every year, on the 11th day of the 11th month, as an entire nation, we use this time to show our utmost appreciation to the men and women who have served in our armed forces. In this moment, we would like to acknowledge the heroes who put their life in danger and those who gave their life for the betterment and prosperity of our nation. We give you thanks. Every year, we dedicate this time to lay a wreath and to commemorate every member of the services. This Veterans Day implicitly belongs to those service members and their loved ones. This goes to every father and mother, husband or wife, the brothers and sisters, the friend or companion who will leave here today, continue on, and kneel before the burial site of the men and women they love. In account of my fellow Americans, I state that the memory of those you loved are in our hearts as well as yours, as their sacrifice is all but forgotten. It is sacrifice that molded our nation. At the time of our founding fathers, we had militias of patriots who had always been willing to serve, and this trend carries on to modern times. Anytime America has faced the tragedy of an attack, we do not cower in the face of our opposition. Whether it's on our own soil or across the entire world, our armed forces and their families have been willing enough to stand for what's right and defend our robust promise to preserve and protect our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Today, as a proud nation, we express our utmost recognition to our service members. No matter how big the parade or celebration may be, nothing compares to the respect and gratitude that you all deserve. In this, we commit more than just one day a year to giving thanks. but every day of the year to repay what you've done for us. As Ronald Reagan once said, those who live today remember those who do not. Those who know freedom remember today. Those who gave up their life for freedom. Thank you so much for your dedication and service to our great nation. At this time, the West Brunswick Chorus will perform the service songs, and we'd ask the veterans in attendance to please stand when your services song is played. What's next? We have a special announcement to make, and at this time, I'd like to have Mr. Pascal come forward once again.
I would first like to welcome to the podium. I promise we're not going to make you speak, Mr. Sipe, but if you will join us up here. He is one of our very own veterans and also our band director. I would also like to invite our commander of the VFW in Calabash, Mr. Jim Milsteed.
Good morning, Trojans. First and foremost, I'm certain that I speak for all the veterans in attendance today. As in previous years, as we walk onto this campus, so honored to be recognized, and we will leave so humbled from your appreciation of our prior service. Whether associated with the American Legion, Marine Corps League, VFW, or just a veteran not affiliated with any fraternal organization, we sincerely thank the student body, faculty, and the entire staff of West Brunswick High School for observing Veterans Day with this wonderful program. Still serving is a motto of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. We are more than just supporters of veteran-related issues. We take great pride in our youth activities and community fair programs. As the commander of Calabash Veterans of Foreign War Post 7288, I'm very proud to announce that one of West Brunswick High School's own has been selected as Post 7288 Teacher of the Year. In the local competition for the VFW National Smart Mahor Teacher of the Year competition, Mr. Jason Sipe. Mr. Sipe has a very impressive resume that has been forward for further competition in the North Carolina state level. It would take too long to read it, but believe me, it's very impressive. It is also a pleasure to present to him a donation for the school band booster program, along with a small award for this recognition. Good luck, Jason, as you go up the ladder.
Now, if you'd please stand and devote your attention to the playing of Dueling Taps by Nevin Sipe and Zane Pullen. moment of silence for those who have fallen. This concludes our Veterans Day ceremony. Thanks again for coming.